I'm Adam Britt with QB 365, and this is episode number 6 of The Breakdown. Guys, I apologize last week. I was not able to put up an episode of The Breakdown. If anybody follows me on all the social medias, Adam Q. Britt on Twitter and Instagram, QB365 on Facebook, you'll know that I had to make a very tough decision last week to leave Archer High School after 7 seasons to take over a position at Hebron Christian Academy. Very excited about the opportunities and new challenges I'm going to have. I get to work for head coach Jeff Saturday. Yes, that Jeff Saturday. That'll be very cool. So just had to kind of tie up some loose ends. Don't have access to Archer's video equipment right now, so how to do everything on the iPhone, which I would show you, but it's filming me right now. But ready to go again. New cameras on the way. Ready to put some more content out there, put some more videos out there. So, to the QB mechanics. If you saw my last daily QB video, link right there if you're watching me on YouTube. If you saw that video, I worked with that trip back from Charlotte. I worked with a kid named Colby Bell. He's from Walnut Grove High School, class of 2020, going to be a sophomore next year. Got some good playing time last year as a freshman, did a good job. Varsity playing time, got some varsity film. He's way ahead of the curve. But if you remember that video, kind of did the slow motion and stopped, kind of really said he had a good motion, which he absolutely does. You'll see here in a second. But his front leg just kind of snapped up. And we'll talk about that here in a second. But the one thing I kind of want to talk about today is, and what some of you guys noticed and maybe been like, that's a little weird, is his L position was a little wider than 90 degrees. Okay. I just kind of want to show you that, show you out. Maybe it's not as big a deal as you'd think, and why it's a whole lot better than if you're on the other spectrum of being under 90 degrees and too tight to our head. Okay, so let's just look at his film right now, his video of his throw motion from last week, and I also just worked with him today as well, so we could kind of look and see if he's changed anything from 2 weeks ago till today. So here he is. Feet are pretty good. We're tweaking a little bit at the top of the drop, but for the most part, it's pretty solid. His initial separation is awesome. This is picture perfect. The ball is covering his elbow. You can see the nose going straight backwards, not going down at any time. But from here, you just see his elbow and his wrist just kind of keep widening. Okay, he keeps extending his elbow out slightly, which equals this position. Now, I'm not going to teach any kid this. I would much rather have the elbow and the wrist be kind of stacked on top of each other just to give a little bit more support, which is, it'll make it easier to get that elbow through and to get that arm through as we go. But you can see that Colby has enough arm speed, has enough discipline on his front side to get that arm through quick enough. The other thing you might notice, the nose looks down here. Well, absolutely, the nose is down in relation to the ground right now. But if you really look at it, and with the relation to his forearm, with his wrist position, the nose really isn't down. If I saw this, any angle like this, then sure, his wrist wouldn't have that solid, loaded position. But right here, he has it. But because his L's a little wider, it looks like the nose is down. But there's zero problem with the nose coming back up before he's about to release the football. If you think that it's going to take a little bit more time, all right, well, let's take a look. Front hand separation, we'll start the clock. You can tell 0.36, you're not going to get much faster than that. And I was really picky on when I was going to start the clock. Boom, right there you start to see some air between the hand and the ball. Clock starts at 0.36. This has no issue right now of a lengthened release time. That's not the problem. What we did talk about needing to work on is that front leg. So let's see that front leg snaps. That makes the arm want to come down. And then you can see that the nose of the ball is starting to work up a little too much. This is only about a 20-yard throw. Nose shouldn't be up that much. So this is actually from today. You can see the L is very similar positions right here. As he comes through from the one 2 weeks ago, you can see leg gets really straight in a backward angle. Here, you can see as the ball comes off his hand, there's still a little bit of flex in the knee. Okay, this is much better. Okay, he's definitely improved this. Might not have stuck yet, but he's definitely improving this and getting the feeling of keeping his hips a little lower and keeping that some flex in that front leg so he can rotate better. And you can see his arm is in a much better position as well. Much straighter right here. He doesn't have that weird angle of his arm right now, just because the front leg and that snap up isn't making him want to come down with it really hard. He can rotate up and out to drive the football to the target. So now that you were able to look at Colby and the wider L that he has and how it's not really hurting him that much, let me tell you what it will hurt you. If you have more of an average athlete, younger kid maybe, and he does get a little wide right here, what's going to happen sometimes is if he doesn't have that front side discipline and that arm speed to make that arm catch back up, you're going to see that ball lay off a lot, like way back here. I can't do it because I'm getting old, okay? But the ball's going to drop behind, and what's going to happen with that is it's going to get really, really wide as it comes through because he's putting so much pressure on his shoulder right here. Because the wider you get, the heavier that ball gets. That makes sense. That makes sense. So the wider you get, the heavier that ball is going to get. So as he comes through, it's going to kind of fall back behind him, and he's not going to get through. So if that's the case, then yes, you absolutely do need to tighten that L up. You need to get that wrist more above their elbow so you can control it better and get it through. But here's the alternative to that, on the other side of the spectrum. The guys that have the ball, the wrist, too close to the head, and they don't have that much room. Let's see. Old football, but you get the point. They don't have that much room close to the head. First off, you're going to see a lot of guys with curled wrists right here, okay? And if they have that, then immediately they're going to kind of want to come around to get that nose back up, okay? Nose is back up, but I've got a huge hallway that I'm going to have to slash across. If they don't, even if they don't have the nose up or the curl wrist curled and the nose is up, okay, there's still no room to get the elbow through. So two things are going to happen. One of two things are going to happen. They're either going to go around or they're going to go up and over. I see a lot of guys want to go up and over to fight that. No room for the arm to come through, so they're going to go up and over and then down. That's when you get the windmill throwing motions, the rainbow throwing motions. That's when the ball wants to die on you really fast. If you let the ball go a hair early, it's going to sail. Hair late, it's going to nosedive on you. Okay. So if I had the one or two, pick between one of the options, I would definitely have the wrist slightly outside the elbow than slightly inside the elbow. Okay, so I hope that makes some sense to you when you start talking about L position. The big thing to get out of this, though, is being very careful about changing positions, especially doing it from static positions. So just putting a quarterback in a good L position isn't going to make much of a difference because they're going to have a hard time integrating that into their actual motion. So then you're going to get the robots that go from point A to point B to point C. So it's much easier and it'll last better, last longer, and be integrated into their throwing motion if you'll try to tweak positions through the path. So a lot of guys that have that wide L, I'm trying to get them to come back and then come through sooner. Okay, not trying to really keep it tighter, but trying to, as they open up, they're immediately coming through sooner, so they don't have as much time to widen that wrist outside the elbow. Okay, and the guys that have no space, they're the ones that want to lift that elbow up. So it might start okay, but then pretty quickly that elbow comes up, and you get this position. Okay, no room. You're either going to get wide or you're going to get it up and over and down. So really think about, okay, the position's not there, but how can I tweak the path to fix that position. Because positions don't mean anything without the path, without a good, correct path that's going to build up speed, build up momentum, to build that arm speed up. Okay, guys, I appreciate you watching. Like, share, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for continuing to watch what I produce and what the content that I put out there. If there's any questions you have, comments below, email me, find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that great stuff. Okay, thanks guys, and we'll see you next time. And if you subscribe to me on YouTube, I'll give you Reese's Pieces. That many.